Good evening, friends. I just wanted to take a few minutes and bring some encouragement. I felt that someone was walking through something that really needed encouragement. And I want to talk about the valleys of life. And I know from personal experience, even in our darkest valleys and through our darkest days, God is there. And as you look in the Bible, the term valley refers to rough times in life. And Joshua talks about the valley of calamity. And Psalm 84 talks about the valley of weeping. And Hosea talks about the valley of trouble. And the verse in Hebrew actually means the valley of deep darkness. And so, how do we navigate these valleys in our lives? And I believe it's absolutely essential that there are some things about the valley that we really need to keep to the forefront of our minds as we're walking through these things. The first thing is valleys are inevitable. In John 16, Jesus says, "In the world you will have trouble." It's not a matter of, it's when it's going to happen. You're going to face difficulties and disappointments and discouragement in life, and there will be times of suffering and sorrow and seasons of sickness and loss and failure and fatigue. And these things are going to happen. It's a natural experience of life. But we also have to remember that valleys are impartial, that no one is immune to them. No one is insulated from pain and hardship. No one gets to skate through life problem free. Matthew 5:45 says, "It rains on the just and the unjust." Remember, this is not heaven. Things are not perfect here. And so things are going to happen to good people and to Christians, and so the impartiality of valleys is very significant. But the most important thing I believe about valleys to remind yourself is that they're temporary. They have a distinct end to them. They don't last. They're not going to last. They are not a permanent location. David says, "Even though I walk through the valley is not something you stay in your entire life. It's something you go through, a circumstance, a situation that has a season to it. When you're in a valley, you often think it's a dead end, but it's not. It's more like a tunnel where there's a beginning and a distinct beginning and a distinct end. You go through the tunnel and eventually you're out of it and back out in the light again. They don't come into your life to stay. They come to pass. And 1 Peter 1:6 says, "There is a wonderful joy ahead, even though the going is rough for a while down here." And he admits that sometimes you are going to go through tough times. Life is tough. There's a lot of bittersweetness to life as we walk through the different situations, but it's temporary. And our hope and our anchors to our soul is that there is hope ahead. And the Lord says, don't get discouraged. So if we respond in that right way, when we go through the dark valley and we refuse to be discouraged, and we remember that God is with us, God is with you, walking beside you. And I encourage you to rely on God's protection and His guidance and His promises, because He walks alongside of you and He's promised you He will never leave you and He will never forsake you. I promise. I love you. I'm praying for you. Be blessed.